Burial Center. My name is Edward Blamo. I'm your host, and as well, I'm the Media and Communications Officer at Center, and I'm here along with Mark W. Bondau. Mark is the Media and Communications Assistant at Center, and he's here ably assisting this program. This show runs from 11 to 12, as I stated, and an information dissemination platform of Centaur. It is a key activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, NIMBA. This program is also a platform that provides essential information about the state of the fight against corruption and national integrity building efforts, as well as this promotes the culture of accountability, transparency, integrity, and evidence-based decision making across all sectors and institutions in Liberia. We are going to take a short break, and when we return, we are going to introduce our guest and also talk about some of the things we are doing at Centaur. Let's take this break.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. I say corruption is a serious problem in Nigeria.
What happened again, matter?
You don't see how our country looking? Everybody just fighting for themselves. Community leaders, religious leaders, government people, teachers, students, taxi drivers, motorcyclists, and even in our homes. Corruption just all over the place. Everybody just inside this corruption business.
But what did all these other people then get to do inside the government people then inside
A teacher takes money from the students for grade. That corruption.
hmm,
When I take our full money and face my hair fine and then say they steal it from me, that corruption.
eh?
When a religious leaders take things that's supposed to benefit their members and give it to their families and friends, that corruption.
Hmm.
When the community leaders eat the community money, that corruption. So that not only our government, BB people, all of us inside it.
Oh, so when I take my pay and not tell my wife about all the money I got, but just give her small and use the rest to do my side thing there, that corruption too.
That is the affair. No transparency.
But what you would do to deal with this corruption business in Liberia now? The way everybody inside is so. I think we will just live with it and accept the results until judgment day, oh, because nobody to help us deal with this thing. I don't even know what we can do, sir.
Don't worry, Alfred. I heard that the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia Center, with support from the people of Sweden through SIDA, is helping to deal with the corruption business.
Like Hannah,
Center says all of us, civil society groups and citizens, should join hands and work together to fight corruption. Reporting anything about corruption in our homes, workplaces, communities, counties, and the country. The people say we must work together to demand for and take actions against corruption in Liberia by reporting to their advocacy and legal advice center. Allah, the people get lawyers there to listen to you and they will tell you what to do.
for true,
Yes, so you can report by calling 4432 for those who get loan star numbers and are free of charge. And for those who don't get loan star number, but you get different company number, you can call 0555 722 113. It's also free of charge. You can also send text message or go to Center's offices on 22nd Street opposite JFK Hospital on top of Lucky Pharmacy.
at least I know
Welcome back to the program Integrity Watch. As I stated, this program is an activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. And as you may be aware, the Swedish International Development Corporation Agency, SIDA, has extended its partnership with Centar. What that means is that the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program will be extended for additional 3 years. And this program is an activity of that NIMBA program. Also, on the NIMBA program, we have other activities, one of which is the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. And that center is an independent platform that allows citizens to seek redress to corruption and other integrity related issues within their communities, in their counties, and in the country at large. At ILAC, you have the opportunity as members of the public to report acts of corruption by sending an email to ilac@centar.org.lr. In case you're in a space and you're working somewhere and you observed that there are some corrupt practices or there are semblance of people extorting monies or people involved into bribery and extortion and sextortion, whatever the form of corruption may be, once you have the evidence, once you've experienced it or you've been affected by it, you are supposed to report it in order to resolve it, in order to end corruption. And Centar has provided that platform, which is the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, so that you can freely report acts of corruption with no fear that when I report, someone is going to know I'm the one that reported and they're going to come after me. Nobody's going to know because the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center has a strict policy on confidentiality. We protect whoever that reports acts of corruption to Centar. We protect your identity. We ensure that we do investigations. The lawyers are there, they are trained, they are willing, and they are ready to conduct investigations and make referrals. At Centar, we do not go to court. So when you report acts of corruption through ILAC, the lawyers at ILAC will review those allegations and they will refer the case or the allegation to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, who is clothed with the authority, the legal authority to prosecute corruption-related cases. The good news is that the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission is a new Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. It is not the old LCC that, you know, you have to report a case and they will have to forward that case to the Ministry of Justice, awaiting prosecution. And sometimes those cases or that case will be met, by other cases, stalled part on the dockets of the court, and sometimes only the dockets of the Ministry of Justice. In fact, and sometimes the likelihood of that case surfacing for adjudication is very, very slim. Now, the LACC, on its new act, has the power to prosecute directly. So when you send a case to Centar and refer that case to the LACC, there are very high chances that that case will end up in court. So that is one of the advantages we have now as whistleblowers. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you have the chance now to report acts of corruption. There is a new LACC. They have the power now to go directly to the court to prosecute corruption cases. They do not have to carry those cases to the Ministry of Justice. They have direct prosecutorial power. So if you did not know, now you know. Now is a chance to report acts of corruption and which will be forwarded to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. So we stated that you can report acts of corruption by sending an email to ilac elac@centar.org.lr. Again, it's elac@centar.org.lr. Also, we have a text line which you can use to send a WhatsApp message, and the line is 0555-722-113. Again, it's 0555-722-113. You can use that number to send a WhatsApp message to ELAC and report corruption. Imagine you just, you can be in the midst of the happening where the corruption is taking place. You just take your phone, go to WhatsApp, save this number, and just leave a message. If you have evidence, you just forward those evidences or whatever you may have to ELAC, and your job is done. The rest of the work will be done by ELAC. They will do the follow-up. They will make the calls. They're not going to call your name. Nobody's going to know that you reported. That is the role we expect you to play as citizens in the fight against corruption. But there's one famous way to reach out to ELAC, and it's free of charge. If you're using Orange or Lone Star, you could call 4432, and it's free of charge. And once you call that number, there is a representative of ELAC that will be at the back end of the call to receive your complaints and take the necessary details. You are not going to pay for that call. Centar is paying for that particular call. So your job is to have a phone that is charged and that is able to make a call. And you need not to worry about, I don't have units in my phone. How do I call to report this corruption? Centar has paid for this number. So your job is to just call. The number is 4432. Once you call, your call will be received by an ELAC representative who's going to, ask you some questions and get some details, and the lawyers will use the information provided to conduct follow-up visits or to do follow investigation, and they will refer the case or allegation to the Liberia Anti-Corruption, who will then forward that complaint to the court and issue an indictment, and you will see some changes. And that's how you contribute to the fight against corruption as a citizen. Everywhere in the world, successes in the fight against corruption are greatly attributed to citizens' participation, citizens' involvement. And if we all citizens just sit back and fold our hands and relax and leave everything with the LACC and civil society, we are not going to succeed in the fight against corruption. We can only succeed when we join in and provide support and participate, because corruption affects us all, not only the folks at the LACC, not only the folks at Centar, it affects everyone. So everyone must get involved. That's why we're encouraging you to report corruption to ELAC, and let's end this corruption thing once and for all. We are also running other activities, including which includes one of which is the Integrity Club's outreach program, and we are at 4 universities with this program: UMU, EMU, University of Liberia, Stella Maris Polytechnic University, and we have young people trained through this Integrity Club program, and they are going in their classrooms and in their communities, sensitizing their peers and educating their community people and around corruption and the importance of having integrity. And gradually, we are imbuing within those young people the tenets of integrity, and they are living example of how people can live and have integrity and can become leaders and also have integrity. We are also training the young people to become leaders. We're giving them responsibilities. Some of them are heading the various chapters of the Integrity Club. They are, conducting activities. They are planning programs. They are reaching out. They are involved directly in the fight against corruption. And they are also being taught on how to live a life of integrity. The vision of Centar is that we can have, a new breed of young people that will have imbued within them the tenets of integrity, and we uphold the culture of corruption and promote transparency and accountability. That is what we intend to do through our Integrity Club outreach program. We also have our open expenditure initiative. We work with local leaders and we ensure that there's inclusivity in the expenditure of county social development funds. How we do that? We conduct forums, open expenditure forums, invite stakeholders, including leaders, county officials, and local leaders in the counties, including women, youth, and disabled, and everyone. We ensure that they conglomerated in the hall and that their voices are heard on what decisions will be like as it relates to utilizing the county social development funds. We don't just stop there. We ensure that those funds are allocated. When those funds are allocated, that they are actually, implemented, that those projects are implemented, and also that they meet the value for money threshold. We conduct follow-up visits at those project sites. We also ensure that those allotments actually meet what is on the ground. We do that by looking at structures or by projects and matching it with the amount that were allocated in the budget. We do those reports. All of those activities are happening on our open expenditure initiative. We also have our national integrity forums where we work with governments, anti-graft institutions by ensuring that there is transparency in public service delivery. We've erected a lot of billboards at government ministries and agencies providing services to the public. There's a billboard at the Ministry of Transport. There's a billboard at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, at the Liberia Business Registry, at the Bureau of Vital Statistics, at the Liberia Immigration Service, at the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. And those billboards, all of them have fees for services at those various agencies. What we intend to do through that is to ensure that members of the public have access to information around services provided by the government, that they know what is it that they are supposed to pay. For example, at the Ministry of Transport, we want individuals who are desirous of services at the Ministry of Transport, for example, driver's license. If you want to get a driver's license, we want you to know what is it you're supposed to pay to acquire a driver's license. We want you to know what is it you're supposed to pay to register your vehicle. If you have a taxi cab or you have a van or whatever the vehicle type may be, you should know what is it to register that vehicle. The cost should be on the bulletin board, and that you should know what is it, and you should get yourself prepared and move directly to whoever is responsible to receive payments, and that you can make your payment without anybody asking you for more. That is what we want to do to reduce the likelihood of corruption, to reduce the likelihood of someone extorting money from you unduly. That is what we're doing through our National Integrity Forum. We are doing a lot more, but we will stop right here and introduce our guests. Today we have the coordinator of our county field officers. And by the way, we have 7 county field officers. They are spread across 7 counties, and they are the ambassadors of CENTAR. They are representatives of CENTAR in those counties. They are engaging stakeholders. They are doing a lot of work, spreading their tentacles across those counties, engaging people, conducting awareness, and doing stakeholders engagement, doing a lot more. And the coordinator of that program is here, is Tawan F. Gensin. He is my guest. But before I get to him, we're going to take a short break so that he adjusts. And then afterwards, we're going to talk directly to Tawon F. Gensen. Let's take this break.
Corruption. I say corruption is a serious problem in Nigeria.
What happened in matter?
You don't see how our country looking? Everybody just fighting for themselves. Community leaders, religious leaders, government people, teachers, students, taxi drivers, motorcyclists, and even in our homes. Corruption just all over the place. Everybody just inside this corruption business.
But what did all these other people then get to do inside this corruption business again? And that the government people then inside this corruption thing, they just taking our money.
No, Alfred, that not only government people can do corruption. When a teacher takes money from the students for grade, that corruption. When I take our full money and face my hair fine and then say they steal it from me, that corruption. When the religious leaders take things that's supposed to benefit their members and give it to their families and friends, that corruption. When the community leaders eat the community money, that corruption. So that not only our government, BB people, all of us inside it.
Oh, so when I take my pay and not tell my wife about all the money I got, but just give her small and use the rest to do my side thing there, that corruption too.
That ain't the Alfred. No transparency.
But what you would do to deal with this corruption business in Liberia now, the way everybody inside is so, I think we would just live with it and accept the results until judgment day, because nobody to help us deal with this thing. I don't even know what we can do, sir.
Don't worry, Alfred. I heard that the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia Center, with support from the people of Sweden through CIDA, is helping to deal with the corruption business.
Like how now?
Center says all of us, civil society groups and citizens, should join hands and work together to fight corruption. Reporting anything about corruption in our homes, workplaces, communities, counties, and the country. The people say we must work together to demand for and take action against corruption in Liberia by reporting to their advocacy and legal advice center. Allah, the people get lawyers there to listen to you and they will tell you what to do.
But you?
Yes, so you can report by calling 4432 for those who get loose numbers and are free of charge. And for those who don't get loose number, but you get different company number, you can call 0555 722 113. It's also free of charge. You can also send text message or go to Center's offices on 22nd Street, opposite JFK Hospital, on top of Lucky Pharmacy.
At least I know now where to report corruption. Let's join the fight against corruption and make Nigeria a corruption-free nation where citizens act with transparency and integrity in all their dealings.
Welcome back to the program Integrity Watch. As I stated, we have in our studio the coordinator of our county field officers, Mr. Tawon F. Gensen. Tawon, welcome to this program.
Thank you, Lamon. As always, it is a pleasure to be here this morning to particularly speak about how we are contributing towards the fight against corruption in Liberia. And we would like to start this conversation by saying Happy Eid Mubarak to all of those who are celebrating this very special day. And we pray that the Almighty Allah answers our prayers.
Okay, so before we go into what we want to go into, I'd just like to inform us that the county field officers, there are 7, and they are representatives of Centar in our project counties, the counties that we are implementing the National Integrity Building and our anti-corruption program. We're in Montserrado, We have a county view officer for Montserrat, and we have one in Grand Bassa. We have a representative in Nimba. We have a representative as well in Bank, Riverses, Bapolu, and Bombing County. So these counties have a representative of Centar, and the county fee officer there is responsible to do a lot. And he's going to tell us more about what they do as county fee officers, but they do a lot. They arrange engagement meetings for Centar. They go about raising awareness for Centar, and they are an integral part of what we do as Centar and the success we've recorded so far in implementation of our national integrity building and anti-corruption program. So we get to Tawan. You've been having a lot of activities. What are some of the activities you've had?
So thank you. Like you rightfully said, we have 14 county field officers in each of the counties that the NEMA program is being implemented in. So at the moment, we have 7 county field officers. So in Grand Bassa, we have Nomesi Witton, who is serving as the institution focal person in our county. In Bapuru County, you have Sylvester Farmer. In Bomi County, you have Joseph Fayomo. Bon County, you have Godfrey Sumo. And in Nimba County, you have the lone female, Marianne Zequil. So what they do, we usually go in communities to conduct anti-corruption awareness. So we are aware that if we are to win this fight against corruption, it requires a holistic fight. It requires everyone contributing towards it. And we cannot say that we have people coming towards us, because if you that have the signal, it is you that will have to go to the people, go to the data, and then have the data inform or request for the data of contribution towards the healing process. So we go in communities in school conducting outreach activities, conducting anti-corruption awareness, strengthening citizens' knowledge about anti-corruption and how they can contribute in tackling the issue of corruption. So the rationale behind all these different activities is a thinking that corruption does not only affect one person, corruption affects everyone. I mean, and the sad part was that corruption is only being carried out by a few persons. And those very few persons who are involved in those corrupt practices are not greatly affected as those people who are being corrupted against. So if we are to win this war against corruption, it means that we'll have to come together holistically. We'll have to come together as country and people to jointly tackle this thing that is called corruption. So when we go to schools, we encourage students to report acts of corruption. We do not only build students' capacity around anti-corruption activities. We do not only build their capacity around the various national anti-corruption laws, no. But we also encourage them to report acts of corruption. And that is what we have been doing over time. We have been popularizing the ELAC number, that is the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. So the number has been popularized in the schools and communities that we have visited. And we have also started to see how best we can popularize this thing they call the NACA, right? So that is a new Anti-Corruption Commission Act. So we want to have people educated around these things. So we assume that when we should have built that capacity, when we should have strengthened that capacity, and when they are able to identify acts of corruption happening in a community or in a school, they will be in a better place to report. They will be in an informed position to report those different cases of corruption. So if we are to win this war, it means that we ourselves will have to move from door to door, from school to school, encouraging people to report corruption, building people capacity around the issue of corruption, strengthening their knowledge about corruption, and making them to feel to take ownership of this thing. Because this thing of corruption is not only the responsibility of the Liberal Anti-Corruption Commission, no, it is everyone's responsibility. And seeing it's everyone's responsibility, it should be our own responsibility to educate community dwellers about how they can get involved in the fight against corruption. That rule is very pivotal, that rule is essential, and they need to have them involved in it, cannot be overemphasized.
And so, quite recently, you converged those county fee officers, and you know, think it was a reflection session, or whatever that was. What was the objectives, and what are some of the outcomes from that session?
Yeah, so over time we have been able to regularize the issue of training strengthening our country officers' knowledge or tuning them around the first anti-corruption law. So they themselves can be empowered. It will not be a fair thing to have people sent in a field where they themselves are not knowledgeable for the federal laws, right? So we do this constantly to build our capacity. So of recent we had the county field officers coming to town purposely to train it to have them more informed around the national integrity building process or national integrity building program. Especially so that we have just renewed the program, so there was a need to make them more or informed about the program and have your rules on the particular program. And so the objective was to build or to inform the country field officers about how we can all collectively work to make this not the NEVA program a success, to have them involved, considering that their role in the rural countries are important, considering that the work they do from community to community has also helped to bring success to the program. So they were brought in town particularly to be trained around the NEVA program and to also update and evaluate various anti-corruption law. Though they have been updated in past and they have been educated already in past, but there's a need to have them re-educated around it
Okay.
because it is possible that John Brown have forgotten about particular clause in the law. So these concessions have always helped to strengthen the county field officers' capacity, to make them more informed about the work they are doing, and to also strategize in ways that we can have the work improved. You don't have to use one tactic year upon year to carry out your work. No, so there's a need that you really strategize to see how best you can address some of the challenges that were faced during the past year of implementation. So they were brought to town to have been trained, to re-empower them, so they themselves too can go back in the community to continue the work that they have been doing.
Yes, this is the phase two of we are in the phase two of the NIMBA program,
Correct,
and the first phase started 2020
correct.
and it ended 2023 December. Someone may be thinking, yes, we're going to get into the second phase. What are some of the things you did in the first phase that, that I mean, probably should know about, some of the achievements or some of the successes that you've registered during the first phase of the program that you may, want to leverage on during the second phase?
So during the first phase, we were more particular about engaging with stakeholders,
Okay.
about engaging with community dwellers and also students. So through those different outreach activities or through different activities, we were able to strengthen the knowledge of the community leaders, to build the capacity of students, to also encourage students to report more cases of corruption when they see it happen. As a result of those different interactions with them, we were able to have more calls coming in from the county, so that was a success all by itself. As compared to before having the whole NEMA program, we did not receive the number of calls that we received from the county. But due to the different engagements that we had in the communities, in the schools, in the rural counties, it helped to increase the number of calls that were coming in from the county. So that's a success all by itself. And just more than that, people were moved or informed about corruption. So people have now gotten more involved in the fight against corruption. We are not saying this to claim total glory for that, but we meaningfully contributed to it. We significantly contributed to that, and that is something that we are proud of. And bear in mind, we are not complacent. No, we have not yet gotten to the point that we have to be complacent. I'm not very sure we ever get complacent along the way, because just how we are tackling the issue of corruption on a daily basis, those guys who are also involved in the corrupt practices are also rich strategizing, are also finding another way to come after rich Congo. So we ourselves, we keep getting ourselves up on a daily basis to have them tackled. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you've conducted the reflection session, and the county field officers are trained now. They know much about the anti-corruption laws, and they are empowered now. They know more about the new phase of the program. Have they started awareness raising? Have they started their work already, or they're waiting?
Yeah, so like you know we have gone more than 3 months into the current phase of a NIBA program,
Mm.
and it's not fair enough that we get started work in the committee. So the short of the lawyer is that we have started work in the committee. We have resumed active few activities in our rural counties, and we have started to engage again with stakeholders. So this time around, we don't just want to be going from committee to committee, conducting committee outreach, or just encouraging people to report acts of corruption. This time, I want to be more intentional about educating the citizens about the federal anti-corruption laws, right?
Okay.
About the federal national frameworks that were developed to help tackle the issue of corruption, and to even or amplify this whole thing about the engagement. We'll also be talking about some international frameworks that were developed, that were crafted with the thinking that yeah, these different laws or frameworks will help to strengthen the fight against corruption. So we are not saying this to mean that we will neglect the issue of telling people to report corruption, but we have now or have an add-on to our previous mode of engagement. So this time we'll be turning in about all those national frameworks that were drafted, that were crafted, or that were acted into law to help strengthen the fight against corruption. Because you cannot have a
When we
citizen
talk about frameworks, are we talking about, for example, the new LCC law, the
the new anti
whistleblower and witness protection law, the code of conduct? Are these the laws we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So we are talking about the code of conduct for public officials. We are
Mhm.
talking about the new Anti-Corruption Commission Act. We are talking about the whistleblower law. We are talking about the witness protection or act, right? So these are different some of the frameworks that we are helping to popularize in the community. Yeah, so we go around and then we educate citizens around this law. Because the thinking here is that when we should have informed them, when they should have gotten a better understanding of this law, when they should have gotten a better understanding of the fight against corruption, when they should have taken ownership of the fight against corruption, it will also help to increase the fight against corruption. It will also help them to take ownership of the fight against corruption. It makes them feel, yeah, this thing is mine. I should be able to protect this particular thing. But until that is done, people just feel that, oh yeah, the fight against corruption, it is not LACC business. No, it goes far beyond LACC. It involves every one of us. Because if corruption happens in the health sector, it may not affect you immediately, right? But as time goes by, it will start to affect you. So, in order to have a society that is very strong against corruption, in order to have a society that have a uniform force against corruption, it is just fair enough to have them educated, to have them informed, to increase their understanding about these different laws, while at the same time encouraging them to report acts of corruption. Because there's a strong possibility that you will have a better understanding of something and then you don't want to report, right? So we are not just encouraging them to report, or we are not just increasing their knowledge about this different law, but we are also asking them to report when we see it happening, regardless of who will be involved. Report. Because it's all about precedence. If when you report John Brown today, and
Mm.
then John Brown action is taken against John Brown, that serves as an action or that serves as a precedence to the next person. So it helps to tell the next person, okay, if John Brown is punished for this particular act, if I were to do it, I'll also be punished. So it helps to make people to act in accordance with the laws.
Okay, so you're listening to Integrity Watch. This is your 1 hour radio program that is produced by Centara's communication section and is also an activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, which is supported by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA. And we here discussing about the activities of our county field officers. For a lot of you out there who don't know, Santara has county field officers in each of the 7 counties that they're working in, and those county field officers are like Centaur in that county. They are representatives of Centaur. They are the symbol of Centaur. They are, representing Centaur, engaging in activities, engaging in awareness, raising and engagement with stakeholders, and a lot more they are doing. And their coordinator, Mr. Tawan F. Gensin, is here talking about what they've been able to do over the last 3 years and what they are doing during this second phase of the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. So if you're out there and you would like to participate, you could call this number 0770 436 728. Again, is 0770 436 728. And once you dial that number, you will be live here on this program, Integrity Watch. Back to you, Tawan. You talk about popularizing the anti-corruption law, telling people, yeah, there's a law. Will you be specific in your sensitization? Are you going to tell people there is a new LACC law, or are you going to tell them there are provisions within the new LACC law that are of interest to them?
So, we will actually be telling them that there's a new ACC law, and we'll actually be also telling them that there is a particular provision within the law that is strong against the issue of corruption. And we will also have them informed about the code of conduct for all public officials and what particularly does it say about corruption. And we'll also inform them about the whistleblower, right? The whistleblower act, and what does that law also say about corruption? What is your benefit, right, when you shall report an act of corruption?
Okay.
In the Witness Protection Law or the Witness Protection Act, how can you be protected when you decide to testify against a person who does or who carry out or an act of corruption? Right. So we will be more specific about what we'll be telling people, because since we are involved in anti-corruption and all of our work centered around anti-corruption, we will be looking at the corruption specific or captions within those different laws.
So, for example, the LACC law, what is very interesting about that law that somebody, may be interested in? For example, about the law, is it about the fact that there is prosecutorial powers within the law now, or is it that what is there that is very interesting that somebody should be interested in?
So let's say let's start with this. So over time we have gotten some issues when it comes to the whole definition of corruption. So
Okay.
globally we don't have one fit all definition because corruption comes in different forms and manner. But if you look at the Liberal anti-corruption, the new anti-corruption law, right? It defines corruption with special emphasis on Liberal. So it means that if you look at the definition, perhaps or it has some seclusion, some or take away from it. But Liberal's own definition with reference to the NACA, by NACA I mean the new Anti-Corruption Act. So it speaks about why is corruption. What are those acts are considered to be corrupt practices, right? What you are supposed to do as an individual to stay clear of corruption, how you can report or an act of corruption when you see it happening. So that has to do with the whistleblower. So how you can report an act of corruption and how you can be protected when you shall report an act of corruption. So these are all the things that we will be speaking about. It is not just about going in fear and then talking about all the laws in totality. No. It is about being more specific as to what the citizen need to know about corruption. Because if you told John Brown that the whistleblower says that when you report any act of corruption and then the act you reported is investigated, and let's say if it involves money and that money is retrieved, you that reported, you are entitled to what? 5% of the retrieved amount.
Is it in the law?
That
Is it
sounds
in the law?
that sounds I'm quoting from the law, bro.
Okay.
So that sounds as an encouragement to the person out there that wants to report, because the act itself has encouraged you, where you are being protected by the act that say, okay, so your John Brown stole 50,000, and then you reported John Brown, and John Brown was investigated, and that amount was retrieved. You are entitled to 5% of that particular amount has been retrieved.
Very
Right?
interesting.
Isn't that an encouragement? It is an encouragement. So it encourages people to report acts of corruption. So it means that this time will not just be reporting for reporting sake, but you'll be reporting at the same time benefiting. And you'll not just be benefiting as an individual, but you also be helping to tackle the issue of corruption within a society. You also be helping to set precedents. You also be helping to make people stay away from acts of corruption. You'll be helping to improve the government hospitals as we getting jobs. You'll be helping to improve the education sector, because the money that will be generated, the money that will be retrieved could be used to improve those various sectors. Yeah.
So yes, you're listening to Integrity Watch. Again, the number to call is 0770-436-728. 0770-436-728. We still have a couple of minutes, very few of them, to take your call, so you can make that call. And we're talking with Tawan F. Gensin. Tawan is the coordinator of our county view officers at Centaur. And you heard him. I mean, there are a lot of interesting things about the various anti-corruption laws that may interest you, members of the public. It may serve as an incentive or motivation or whatever that may be for you to, engage in reporting acts of corruption. A lot of times you go out to conduct awareness with people, they will tell you, oh, I mean, what are we going to get if we report corruption? And people are going to come at us. We always told them, whenever you report corruption, you are protected unless you disclose your own identity. There's no way, even at the LECC, at Centaur, you report corruption, your identity will never ever be revealed unless you reveal your own identity. So there's an interesting part that Towel raised. So if you're there, this is the time to shoot. You have a chance to get something out of reporting corruption. If you report a corruption, it's in the law. Towel is not saying it on top of his head. It's in his law. It's in the whistleblower law. If you report acts of corruption and there was a retriever, if 50,000 was stolen and you witness it and you saw it, you know the trace of it, and you reported that to the to LACC, you call Centaur, Centaur referred that matter to the LACC, and that money was retrieved. The law provides that you get a percentage of that retrieved funds. So imagine what that means. Imagine what that means. So the opportunity is yours. The onus is not upon you, members of the public, to join in the fight against corruption, and let's fight corruption together. Tawan, because of time, we'll just take your plans for coming months for the next phase of the program.
Yeah. So we have developed a 3 month plan. Uh, is mostly about engagement few activities, particularly outreach in communities, which we'll have to continue with, and will also be growing on campuses. So this time around, we want to do more stakeholder engagement. So by stakeholder engagement, this time I mean local officials should be engaged more, because they themselves have a very key role to play in this whole issue of corruption. So in the counties, we'll also be engaging with local officials from every sector. So it could be health, it could be education, it could just be any sector by that way. So will be engaged, everyone will be engaged, and we'll be making having radio appearances to also have the public informed about working in the counties. So in each county, we'll have a radio appearance there by the county field officer to speak to his or her work and to also engage with citizens. Yeah, so at the moment, so these are some of the activities that will be carried out in the county. And again, so to conclude, we are here today
Mm.
because we are passionate about the fight against corruption. And as part of our closing remarks, we'll want to appeal to everyone out there listening to make this his or her responsibility to report. Bear in mind that if you report a particular act of corruption, you'll be helping to save your child's future. Because when you have reported and it is investigated, and it's actually what you reported is true, it means that you are helped to improve the agricultural sector. But bear in mind also that you should have evidence to everything that will be said by you because it is another person's character that we are talking about it. It's not just about reporting, but it's about having strong facts for what you are about to report. Strong facts are be able to support your claim against a particular individual. And lastly, as we usually say in the community, please, we shall have reported any case to center, any corruption related case to center, either through the 443 number or through WhatsApp or via the email address. Please, you don't have to reveal your identity. You are now under any obligation to go back in the community and break about it.
Mm.
This thing about fighting corruption is not about breaking. It is a risky task. It is a risky task. So when you are involved in it, you have to play safe.
Okay.
So please, you don't have to go back. Just report and then keep your identity or unknown to the people. You don't have to go back to your community chairman, having the community chairman inform that, oh, I just reported you to center. It means that you are not protecting your own life. We care about your safety, and we are appealing to you to do same for yourself.
Okay.
So thank you. It's a pleasure that you were able to host us, and we are always actually able to kind of have the public informed about the work that we are doing in the counties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And sadly, that's all the time we have for this edition of the program, Integrity Watch. We've had here as our guest Mr. Tawon F. Gensen. Tawon is the coordinator of our county field officers. He coordinates the activities of those county field officers in the counties that we are implementing the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. And we'll be here next Wednesday at about this time to bring you another edition of the program, Integrity Watch. Until then, I would like to encourage you to visit our website. We are at www.centar.org.lr, or you can visit our budget portal, which is the budget analysis portal that we have developed that has all of the analysis of the national budget and what we are doing in the areas of anti-corruption investigations and a lot more. And the handle is www.liberiabudget.info. And that website, once you go there, you're going to have all of those information displayed. Until then, you can also visit our website. We are available at www.centar.org.lr or our Facebook page at Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. Until then, bye bye.
Matter.
You don't see how our culture looking? Everybody just waiting for that show. So listen to you and
How are you?
on Truth FM 96.1.